So let's get started with a couple of definitions. So at the top of your paper, you'll see it says a double number line allows you to represent two quantities at the same time. And then below it, it says you can represent unit rate on double number lines. So they're very similar to a tape diagram, and I will show you how you get from a double number line to a tape diagram. It's going to be pretty impressive. So let's look at number one. It says Alex can walk 6 miles in 3 hours. So right there is our rate. We have to create a table and a double number line to represent this situation. So we want to start off by using our rate to find our unit rate. So we know we have to set up our proportion. We have 6 miles in 3 hours. We have to figure out how far he went in 1 hour. So we divide by our denominator. So divide by 3, divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So our unit rate is 2 miles per hour. So now we can also fill out our table. So we know in 1 hour he went 2 miles. In 2 hours he can double the amount of miles he went. So 2 times 2 would be 4. And you want to match these up a little bit better than I am. It's hard to write on a video. So in 3 hours he can go 3 times the amount he went in 1 hour. So 3 times 2 means he can go 6 miles in 3 hours. And then in 4 hours, he went 4 times the amount he went in 1 hour. So 4 times 2 would get me 8 miles. And again, you want to match them up. So in 1 hour, he went 2 miles. 2 hours, he went 4. 3 and 6, and 4 and 8. It's just hard to write small on here. So now that our table is complete, we can create our double number line. So the difference between a double number line and a tape diagram is that these are not boxes. Okay, so think of a number line. We have those little tally marks almost to represent where our numbers are. So in this case, we're going to use our tally marks. And we have hours and miles. In this problem, we only have 4 hours, so we can just tally 1, 2, 3, 4 hours total, and then you want to match them up on the number line above. So our 4 tally marks on the miles number line need to match up perfectly with our 4 tally marks on the bottom number line. And then we just fill out our numbers. So in 1 hour, he went 2 miles. In 2 hours, he went 4 miles, 3, 6 miles, 4 hours, he went 8 miles. And there's our double number line. So now let's answer some of these questions. Letter B says, how long does it take Alex to walk 24 miles? So let's set up a new proportion to figure that out. We know he walked 2 miles in 1 hour. We need to figure out how long it took him to walk 24 miles. So how many hours did it take? So remember, when we solve proportions for a missing number, we first multiply across. So our first step is to multiply 24 times 1, which just gets us 24. And our second step is to take that 24 and divide it by our leftover number. So 2 is our leftover number, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. So for our question, it takes Alex 12 hours to walk 24 miles. The next one asks, how many miles can Alex walk in 1.5 hours? So for this one, we don't need a proportion because we can use our double number line to answer. So we look at our hours number line, and we need to go to 1.5 hours. So that's halfway between 1 and 2. And we look what it matches up with on our other number line. So in this case, halfway between 2 and 4 would be 3 miles. So in an hour and a half, he can walk 3 miles. The next one asks, how many miles can Alex walk in 2.5 hours? So again, we can use our double number line, go 2.5 hours, so halfway between 2 and 3, and we want it to match up with something on our other number line. In this case, halfway between 4 and 6 would be 5 miles. So in 2.5 hours, he can walk 5 miles. Okay, number 2 says Jackie can make 18 3-point baskets in 3 minutes. Create a table and a double number line to represent the situation. So we need to start off by figuring out our unit rate. We know our rate is 18 baskets in 3 minutes. So 18 baskets, 3 minutes. We need to figure out how many baskets in 1 minute. So we'll divide by our denominator, divide by 3, divide by 3. So 18 divided by 3 would be 6. So we know our unit rate is 6 baskets per minute. And that can help us fill out our table. So in 1 minute, he can make 6 baskets, she. In 2 minutes, she can make double the amount of baskets, so 6 times 2 would be 12. In 3 minutes, it would be 6 times 3, which is 18. 4 times 6 would be 24. And 5 times 6 would be 30. So again, you want to match them up as best as you can. 1 minute, 6 baskets, 2, 12, 3, 18, 4, 24, 5, 30. And now that we have our table complete, we can create our double number line. So you want to use your little tally marks, and we have 5 minutes total in our table, so we need 5 tally marks on the minutes number line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you want to match up your baskets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tally marks. And in 1 minute, 6. In 2 minutes, there were 12 baskets. 3 minutes, 18. 4 minutes, 24. 5 minutes, 30 baskets. So now let's answer some questions. How many baskets can she make in 2 minutes? Well, that's easy. We can go to our minutes number line, look at 2, and it matches with our 12 baskets. C asks, how many baskets can she make in 5 minutes? Oh, look, I made this so easy for you. Go to 5 minutes on our number line, and it matches with 30 baskets. D says, how many baskets can she make in 7 minutes? Uh-oh, that's off my number line. So I need to remember that I could make 6 baskets in 1 minute. So in 7 minutes, I could make 7 times 6, 42 baskets. Number 3 says, a recipe for cheesecake crust requires 3 cups of crushed graham crackers and 2 cups of butter. You need a larger quantity of pie crust to make triple the recipe. If you have 6 cups of butter, how much crushed graham crackers will you need? We have to create a table and a double number line to represent the situation. So before we do anything, we have to find our unit rate. So we know we have 3 cups of graham cracker. I'm going to put GC for every 2 cups of butter. We have to figure out how much graham cracker we need for 1 cup of butter. So divide by our denominator. If we divide by 2, divide by 2. So 3 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 one whole time. 1 times 2 is 2 with 1 left over. So we need to put a decimal, put a 0. Our decimal goes through, and then bring our 0 down. So 2 goes into 10 5 whole times perfectly. So our unit rate would be 1.5 cups of graham crackers for 1 cup of butter. So you see our first question, we use 1.5 cups of graham cracker if we only use 1 cup of butter. Now that we found our unit rate, we can also fill out our table. So for 1 cup of butter, we need 1.5 cups of graham crackers. Now 2 ways we can figure out how much graham cracker we need for 2 cups of butter. One way, they told us in the problem, so we need 3 cups. The second way is to take our unit rate and multiply it by 2. If you do that, 1.5 times 2 will get you to 3. Next, if I have 3 cups of butter, I need to figure out how much graham cracker I need. So it's going to be triple the normal amount. So 1.5 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15, carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Gotta move our decimal in one place. So for 3 cups of butter, I need 4.5 cups of graham cracker. For 4 cups of butter, 1.5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Decimal in once, so I just have 6 cups of butter. 6 cups of graham cracker for 4 cups of butter. And then for 5 cups of butter, 1.5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Move my decimal in once, so I need 7.5 cups of graham cracker for 5 cups of butter. So make sure yours match up better than mine. And now we can create our double number line. So we need 5 tally marks, 4, 5, for 1 cup of butter, 2, 3, 4, 5 cups of butter. And they need to match up perfectly with our graham cracker tallies. And at 1 cup of butter, we need 1.5 cups of graham cracker, 2 cups of butter, 3 cups of graham cracker, 4.5, 6 cups, and 7.5 or 7.5. So our last question asks us, if you use 10.5 cups of graham crackers, how much butter did you use? So we can set up a proportion to figure this out. We know our unit rate is 1 cup of butter for 1.5 cups of graham cracker. We want to figure out how many cups of butter we need for 10.5 cups of graham cracker. So remember, solving proportions, you take the first 2 numbers, or the 2 cross numbers that you have, as your first step. So 1 times 10.5 is just 10.5. Then you take your answer, so 10.5 as step 2, and divide by your leftover number. So we haven't touched 1.5. So when we do this division, 10.5 is inside my doghouse, 1.5 is outside, but we can't have a decimal, so remember we got to move it over. So now our new problem is 105 divided by 15. And when you do this, your answer should be 7 perfectly, because 7 times 15 is 105. So my answer is 7 cups.